Welcome everybody back to Bourbon Over Baseball with your host Bob and co-host Jeff and Matt. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
All right,
Hello.
We're deep into our drinks, crushing these podcasts out for everybody. We are on our last team for the AL Central. If you have not guessed it, it is the Kansas City Royals. They didn't do too well. What's their salary, total salary there, Jeff, for the base set?
Yeah, so their total salary is $39.20,
So
which
just under.
is yeah, it's not super great. The average team was about 4,100, like 4,160. So yeah, so no, they're below that, but I wouldn't say they're anything totally awful. Like there is a lot of teams kind of in that 4,000 range right above them.
So if you're just listening in, this is the podcast where we talk about a lot of stuff baseball related. We drink bourbon and we love Showdown. This one in particular, because of the coronavirus that's going around, this is in 2020 right now, and we are trying to break down some of the older cards, the nostalgia that people liked in the 2000 set, how Showdown came to be, and a lot of our fans love this. If you guys are listening and you want other teams done in the future that we haven't done yet, definitely, talk about it, subscribe to the YouTube channel, write your comments in, let us know what teams are going to be next. This is our last team in the AL Central, and we will be doing some more continuing through this. Right now, though, if you guys are ready, we'll break down the Royals. They're not as great as the other teams we did, but I think there's still some highlights in here that we can talk about. And I know there's one comment that I'll talk about later. So let's see about the Kansas City Royals.
Baseball in KC. Kansas City got up to date in the...
And if you guys are just listening, that's another theme song that we've found that's just another one of these oldies but goodies. I'm still, again, we're all from Cleveland here, so I guess we have favoritism, but the Cleveland Rocks one just is like the best.
Right, and the Twins one was actually pretty great. Like,
there were some good
back,
ones.
I feel like I'm learning a lot about these team songs, and it's kind of bringing a whole vibe together for them.
I'm hoping there's a Kansas City Royals fan out there that's listening to this, because I had a very hard time finding the Royals quote unquote theme song. There's not really one that I could find, but that was a Talking Baseball remix for the Royals. So if someone finds it, they can link it to me. Let's go on though and break this down. We have Carlos Beltran, the foil, who played forever, just retired a few years ago, and
I just banged a trash can.
Yeah. Yeah, who helped out of the trash can gate, who, if anybody's listening to this, was given the job to be the Mets head coach and then taken away.
As it should have been, because, screw those guys.
Yes. But at the time in this thing, he was young. He's a rookie.
Rookie of the year.
I think he was a rookie, wasn't he?
Rookie of the year, 1999.
So
really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Great speed here, ton of chart, only 3 outs here, 7, not a bad 7. I actually don't mind this card at all.
No, it's just a big single range, but I'm into it, even for 320.
Yeah, I've never had to play with this card, but I would not be disappointed with this card on my team. I'm not the one I'm drafting. I just feel like I'm either going really heavy or really like low value, or low salary value on a card like this. 320 is like right in that middle range. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard because if you're drafting a team under a point construction, you're probably going to take a higher end outfielder, and then if you're taking a lower end, you're going to go in like the 200 point range. Mm-hmm. The only bonus with this guy is you can put him in all 3 spots.
Yep. Yeah, the OF is a good call.
Right.
I think there's only 2 foils, one for the regular and one for the pennant. So this is the one they got for their team. But next up is actually a pretty good player. We got Johnny Damon. So we got a 9 for 360. So definitely a jump up, and still pretty good chart. 1 through 5 out kind of sucks, but he actually does get drafted a lot.
So do you think Beltran got the foil because of winning Rookie of the Year?
I would imagine that they were debating what to do with a foil for this team, because there wasn't a really amazing card, and they were like, he won the Rookie of the Year, so let's give it to him. Because
right, it had to be that.
I assume that they're same thing with Dean Palmer. They're like, who in the fan base is gonna like? Who is collecting these cards? It's not just a card game; it's a collectible card game. which is a CCG is what people call it, or a TCG, a tradable card game. And when you're a fan of the Royals and this guy just got Rookie of the Year, you're probably pumped to see this guy come, up. And he was a really good player. So, I mean, so was Johnny Damon.
Right. Johnny Damon was a beast that year.
Mm-hmm. So great card here. I've seen him a lot drafted because he's a 9 at the A speed, and he doesn't hurt you in outfield. So in the left right field.
Right, and he's single plus at 15 is pretty great.
Yeah, I definitely liked him in the Royals, so he did a good job. Next up, Jermaine Dye, another pretty decent outfielder here. So if this was their outfield, you have Carlos Beltran at center, so you got a +3 outfield, and you got a 7, 8, 9 going on here, all in the 300-point range. I don't know, he's whatever, nothing. I don't really want to spend 310 for this, but he's all right.
I feel like he got a little cheated in his chart. Just looking at his stats.
Tell us what's going on.
He had 44 doubles in 99.
Wow, that's a fucking shit ton.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should have been like 12 to 16 doubles.
And we'll get to it when we get to the Astros. Craig Biggio had like 56 and has like 3 doubles on his chart too. So
again, this is all part of the theory that no one was checking.
And he also had 8 triples. To only get one just seems a little odd.
Yeah. How many stolen bases did he have?
2.
Okay, so that's why he got the B speed. But Casey's got a big park, don't they?
I couldn't.
So I assume I thought that's probably why he got the triples. I assume it's because of a big park, not based on his speed. And actually, that's to sidetrack. I'll give you two side notes here. That's the one reason I like baseball is that the field itself is not a dimension like baseball and football and soccer are, or sorry, football, basketball, and soccer. And there's a really sweet post on Twitter. Again, this is April of 2020, but John Boy does a great job on Twitter. And did you see, Jeff, that he was posting the high school people taking photos of their fields?
I did see that. Yeah,
that team had a freaking football field in center field.
Right. It was just like it was amazing. It was just like a half circle.
I love the character that a field can have, and the Royals are one of the ones I really want to visit because of how clean and crisp their ballpark is. So, someone could tell me if it's amazing as I think, but everything I've heard is PNC is one of the best ones, and I've visited that one, so I haven't been in the Royals. But Jermaine, a little disappointing, especially with the news that Matt just told us, because I think that kind of double range. Every time I hear close to 50, all I think is Albert Bell, and you should be like a crazy good card.
Right, he should have 4 or 5.
Especially for being an 8, he should have
How
a
many
bigger
home runs
double
did he have?
range. Like 27, I think.
See, I feel like you could go like 14, 17 double and like 18 triple, 19, 20 home run. That'd be more realistic.
Yeah, he had 27 homers and 44 doubles. So it just seems like he probably should have had
crazy.
At least one more double on his chart.
Yeah, or
he got cheated.
Single, something.
Right.
And that's where if you guys listen to El Presidente Peter talk at all, he will talk about how Bob, have broken this thing down basically to a giant algorithm where I could input data and just spreadsheet out all these cards. And to a sense, that's nice, but there's a ton of errors. And there is actually a very fine art that comes into finagling those errors out. So the algorithm is great for a baseline. But you kind of have to dive a little deeper. Like Matt's looking at the chart going, what did he really do that year? And so you look at that like, okay, maybe his chart didn't exactly fan out right. And then where do you finagle that chart to make it look correct? Like the on base, we know where that's going to lie. But the chart itself has a lot of art that gets done, especially in the pitchers. And this seems like a, like you said, a fail on what he should have had.
Yeah.
Next up, Carlos Febles?
Sure.
Yeah.
Pebbles, maybe? Honestly.
He's actually not bad.
No. And this will get just off of everything we've looked at, because now I'm looking at stats. Now it's going to get ignorant. But
it's pronounced Ignat.
Ignat. So he had a 336 on base percent, right? Dean Palmer had a 337, but was a 7 on base.
Okay.
and Palmer had the full season of plate appearances. He only had 524.
Interesting.
So and he had 9 triples and he only got 1, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a lot. That's a lot of triples. Again, Casey's
Yeah.
got a big ballpark. I
They
don't know if they
definitely hit a lot
factored
of
that
triples
in.
in their ballpark.
Yeah, I don't know if they factored that in when they made these cards, which would be great if they did, because then you're taking like that. If you look on like fan graphs and stuff like that, they have that stuff plus, and the plus usually is like a factor in of the ballparks.
Hmm.
Like it's nice to say like, well, I played in Colorado my whole career, like, but what would you have done everywhere? It's sort of like that. But for an 8 for 270, pretty decent chart here.
Yeah.
I don't mind him. I've never played with him, but I like an
Right.
8-speed 8 here. I just feel like the reason that I don't play with him a lot is because either your second base you're going like Terry Shumpert, like Roberto Alomar, or you're going like, give me +5 second base for the lowest salary I can get.
Right.
I'm a big Randy Velarde guy.
Yeah. Oh, I like Randy a lot. Yeah.
I will realize like with these sets, like with having so much range in that second base defense, like I will say that and shortstop have been kind of those nice ones, just kind of fill in however you need to. I know that a lot of ways you can almost look at it the reverse and fill in third base and first base if you get
Well,
great
first base is
defense.
hard to fill in.
Right. So like that's my thing is that like I feel like there's like an abundance of good defensive guys. And so like a guy like this, like if I've already got, a decent third baseman, I'm assuming +0 first baseman, like a +3 is like I feel like I've had infields at around 7 and 8 the past, couple,
Well, let's say
seasons.
you
And
maxed it out. Let's say you got a shortstop +5 and a third baseman plus
3.
2-3. This guy fits great for getting
You're already
you
an
to getting
11.
above
right.
10.
That's exactly my point is that like you don't need to get to an infield 13, like even though some people would disagree with me on that, but I think that like an infield 10 or 11 you're fine, you're going to get almost everybody out, like if you don't, it's just like probably the only time it'll happen that season.
And there's
So,
not, I mean, well, in 2000 there was a lot of ground ball ranges, but in general that only happens X amount of times, and hopefully you rolled good, and if not, you'd hopefully get him out. But I mean, I get it. You
exactly.
want big ranges. It is what it is. I think this guy's pretty solid though.
Yeah, and he's catching that damn ball. It's
Yeah.
right in his mid. I can see it.
So we got
Good for him.
Jason's brother, who is portrayed by what's his face in Moneyball.
Oh, it's no, he doesn't. He's not. Chris Pratt doesn't play him.
No, Chris Pratt plays the catcher.
Yeah, who's the
It's-
catcher? How can I
AJ
not-
Hinch was it still?
No, it
No,
wasn't.
it's the guy. There was a guy that played this guy in the movie.
Oh, I remember what you're saying. I can't. I
One
can't.
of you guys
picture
can
it.
look it up, but obviously Jeremy Jambi, the brother of Jason Jambi, who wasn't as good power wise, but in the movie at least they portrayed that he walks a lot, and that's what he. But either 4 through 18 here, huge on base to first. But what I actually like about this card is he's under 200 points and he's an 8.
Yeah, he's
a C speed, which sucks, but 1 through 3 out, and he's an 8. Like that's a really good 8 for 170.
Right, that's bizarre.
Like what was it?
You're
Tony
totally
Clark
right.
was like, what was Tony Clark that we just went over?
was he 300 or
Yeah, I thought he was 300 for an 8.
yeah.
For a B speed, right? But I mean, like for 170, you're talking about 2 or 130 points less. That's a pretty good range.
You could save a lot of points by you're getting an 8 that you're probably going to end up on first if you get the chart,
Yeah.
but at least it's a 1 through 3 out.
Yes.
You almost have the same chance at getting an out as you do as getting
You're
a double or more.
basically, not to be redundant here, but you're basically a money ball with this guy.
Yeah.
That's the reason you got him.
You're getting on first.
Yep. So.
He's not terrible.
No, I actually, when I look at this, I was like, ugh. Then I'm like, I've never played with this guy because I usually don't play with C-speed guys unless I have to. But for an 8 for 170, I am actually right now, and I don't know if it's the whiskey talking or the bourbon, but the Royals are not making me disappointed.
No, a lot of 8s. It's like
Okay. So
with
it's not
all the
just my
8
whiskey. You guys agree?
no, like they're a decent team. Like when you're playing against a regular team with the amount of 8s, they're gonna get charts. But we haven't seen any of their pitching yet.
So
Right.
side note, the Royals logo, when we do things, Matt, we would have just used the logo here. They use the white circle around it, which is interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I wonder
Was
if
that their
that's just 'cause
logo at the time?
Well, I wonder if it would blur too much with the background, so they had to
Right.
they had
Yeah,
to jolt
because
it.
I mean, you could see the trademark thing below the circle.
Yeah, yeah. I just wonder. Like I had a problem when I did the Tigers. I think once, where I had to use the white Tigers logo because the logo blended too
Yeah.
much the background. But it's and this is the art part that we're talking about. So it just depends on how you're doing something. This we're talking about card creating now, but Yeah, it's interesting they use the white background there.
But so on Moneyball, like there was some nobody played Giambi, but
I thought it was a comedian. Never mind.
it's Nick Perazzo, if that name sounds familiar. But I looked him up, and he doesn't. I honestly think this guy was a baseball player that just decided to like do acting.
Side
Not,
note:
not
if
like,
anybody does not know, the guy that played the big batter in Major League was a pitcher.
Yeah, he pitched for the Brewers.
Yeah, the big Yankee slugger was a pitcher.
wow.
So they do draft some of these times into the movie, but yeah, Chris Pratt was the catcher in that movie.
He was Scott Scott Hatterberg.
Yep.
So that now I remember.
Yep.
But yeah, he's in the set somewhere. So
yeah.
Speaking of Major League, I still feel like the movie was made like 1989, right?
Yeah.
I still feel like Willie Mays Hayes is Kenny Lofton, even though he wasn't even an Indian yet.
right.
Well, that's what's so funny because I feel like Willie Mays Hayes. Every time I've watched the movie, goes they made him because of Lofton, but they didn't.
We didn't even have him yet.
Yeah, but it is him. Like I wonder if they were like, hey, I feel like we can find a guy like that and put him on the team because it's like a skinny.
Fast dude.
What's the actor's name?
Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes. It's like a skinny Wesley Snipes. I mean, he obviously is a martial arts expert, but he was jacked when he played Blade.
Oh my god, yeah, dude.
But in that movie, he's very skinny. But like him, he's a skinny black dude who's really, really fast. I mean, like Kenny Lofton is that guy. I mean, like I don't know, like, and I love Kenny Lofton. He was. I still have I have a Kenny Lofton's rookie card. I love Lofton. And it's like, I always thought, because I watched the movie when I was older, that they made that because of Lofton, just like you said, but that's not the case.
So did I.
So that is funny, like a,
And then they made,
they
did it again with that Serrano. They went and got Franmil Reyes.
Well, that might be a little later. Is Franmil Reyes like, sacrificing chickens in the dugout?
He might be when he needs power.
Dude,
didn't it take him like a month to hit his first homer as an Indian?
He did. It was a while.
And he had like 35 in San Diego
for the season, but the Corona thing might put it back on. I don't know.
And I love watching him play, but it's just like he is a home run or he's striking out.
Next up, we have Chad Kruder here, which is a kind of guy that you're grabbing just for his defense. Because he's not good speed, not good on base, and not a good chart.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
Yeah,
except for the arm, which is okay.
I definitely don't want this guy, but I guess if a bunch of catchers got taken and you're shit out of luck and you didn't want to spend a lot of points, this guy could fill that kind of spot.
Yeah, you need that 7.
Yeah, if you're you look around the league. I don't know if you're doing a blind draft or a draft where you don't know what's going on. If you're doing what's called a Rochester draft where you can see all the cards, you can say, "Oh my God, they're all grabbing A speed. I need defense." You could do something like this. Next up, Jeff Montgomery. So we got a closer here. What I will say before anything is I hate 1 through 14 guys unless they're like 6s.
Yeah.
I don't like this card at all, but he is only 100 points.
But for what? You could spend like 30 or 40 more and get a complete stud.
So he should have been like 70 points before the closer bonus?
Maybe.
Right. Honestly, he was probably an 80. This is like an 80-point reliever.
I mean, this dude was
big ground ball range, but huge single range, which really sucks.
Yeah,
I feel like if you brought this guy in to quote unquote close the game, and the guy's on second base with 2 outs, he's scoring. Because
his hit per 9 was a 12.6.
His what? Ks per 9?
Hit per 9.
Oh, hit per 9. What was K per 9? Because he only got 1 through 2 out.
4.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
And then he had a 1.8 whip.
Yikes.
And 6.8 ERA.
Oh my God.
Whoa. Dude, he's lucky to walk away with a 100-point card.
Yeah, I feel like this card's actually a benefit then for what I'm hearing.
Right.
Which is
like
which sucks because the Royals, obviously in the 2000 era or 2010s era, teens, they had such a great bullpen.
Oh my God.
They were just a bullpen shut down. So it's disappointing. Next up, we got Joe Ronda.
Another
8. Big single range here. Not a bad double range.
Not a bad out range.
But
so.
I feel like 290 might be a little much.
Yeah.
I feel like 250 would be a good number here.
Right. It's tough because we've seen so many. Like I feel like now that we're like 5 teams in, we've started to kind of feel like create this baseline of like
Yeah.
what a good kind of middle 8 is.
Yeah.
And like this is like I feel like just slightly above that. It's not like anything is like, again, like if you're blind drafting him, I'd be psyched. But if we're talking about a card that like somebody's going to actively be looking at and being like, yeah, I'm picking that. Like this is, I just don't think it's happening here.
Now,
And this is another guy with 8 triples.
this is 100% Kansas City's
But-
ballpark.
And to put it on that though, 2 years prior he played for Pittsburgh and he had 9.
How many stolen bases?
5.
So he's a guy that, wow, that's interesting. So he's not a guy that's a good base stealer, but he's a guy that really can take advantage.
He's hitting it in the gap apparently.
Right. I was gonna say he's just
'Cause
hitting him
he had,
against the
he
wall.
had 36 doubles too. So if you take 36 doubles and 8 triples, he's hitting it in the gap a lot.
Now, side note, guys, is this guy literally look like he's pitching from 1960?
Right. Like what is that stance?
This is definitely warming up. He's
Yeah.
a warm up. He's like warming up from third base, but he looks like a pitcher. This guy looks like he's from 1960 the way he's looking. And
right.
he's like pitching. Side note, they cut the shit out of his legs. They like
That
have
might-
the white border at the bottom.
Yeah.
They just
Oh,
have him.
that's the.
he's
I'm
a
telling
ghost.
you, that's the bleed stuff. I'm
Yeah.
telling. So you can tell that like it's definitely too much room at the top, like between the top of the card and the MLB Showdown text.
They didn't have a good picture.
No, that's
They're like, where's
that's
the
really
best picture
funny.
you got? Oh, spring training when he's warming up at third.
Yeah. You know, crazy enough, he came to spring training with no feet. And it was
Yeah.
really, really bizarre. And like, you know, somehow he's still an on-base 8. But
So when we make
anyway.
our cards, Matt knows this. We will make the full card past the bleed, so the bleed
Yeah.
cuts it where it's supposed to be. But this obviously didn't. He's just floating in space here. But I thought the picture when I just first glanced, I could easily see someone going, "Oh, I grabbed the pitcher. Oh, he plays third because he looks like he's from like the 1800s pitching here." So, I don't know if it's just me. Let me just take a double check. No, maybe
No,
not. I was like, the Kansas City hat also looks old. Like everything looks
Yeah.
old in this card.
right, he looks like he looks like he was pitching against Bob Feller.
I mean, I
Is
hope
that
Joe
even
Rand is
him?
not listening, but I'm like, did they just like give you a hat? They're like, just like give them whatever we got left.
And it's like this hat was like it's covered in dust and hasn't been worn since like the 40s. But
Yeah.
here we go.
I mean, he's
Throw me,
yeah.
put me in, coach.
Yeah. Next up, Jose Rosado.
Legit.
Yeah, he's a good pitcher.
Not bad. I actually really like this. I don't know if I want to spend 450 here because like, isn't Brad Radke like 470? Or is it 490?
I think he's more expensive, but he goes 7, right?
Double check me, guys. Here, I don't have the cards in front of me.
Yeah, I can.
I know
can
he
bring
goes
it.
7 though, and he's a 16 out.
Yeah, I think it's the same card but with another inning.
But what's his salary?
Right here, he's 480. Yeah,
So
he's
for
this.
30 more points.
But Radke does. Radke gives up. He doesn't have a walk. He's 17-19 single and 20 double. Control 4. So this.
What's the ground ball range?
7 to 12. So that's pretty good.
Oh, yeah, so interesting.
But-
I almost
but
rather. I wonder if I'd rather have this guy. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely rather have this guy.
and
he
I'm,
has a
and
walk.
I'm
He's
always a
staying.
Brad Radke drafter, so I wonder if I should be looking at Jose Rosado.
Yeah, I mean, you lose that innings pitch, but like, as long as you have like a couple good relievers, like I don't think that's a gigantic
Yeah,
deal. But
I just don't know if I noticed this card enough. I'm glad we're talking about it.
right, I think that walk matters. I really think that does. I know
Yeah,
it's one roll.
walks. I mean, I don't know how many times I've come in this. I think, well, you guys don't know this, but I've just played my game against my buddy on Discord just recently because of the Corona quarantine that I've had to play shut on online now. But there was a time when I first and second, and don't want to give a single. Oh, we got the walk, bases loaded, and then I get an out the next out. So
It's huge.
you
Right.
really need that walk sometimes. So
Yeah.
but another card, look here, they bleed is correct where they cut his leg off at the bottom. So they really just cheaped out on what's his face,
Joe Randa.
Sorry, Joe.
Wow.
I'm actually glad I looked at this card because I actually like this card a lot. For 30 less points, for 1 inning less, and I get the walk, and I could stack him in bullpen. I kind of like this guy.
Mhm.
Right, I'm right with you.
Have you
Like,
ever
I've-
drafted? Has anybody else ever drafted this guy? Matt, Jeff?
I mean, it's funny. I think I have all of our drafts saved, or we have them saved somewhere. I know, so I could check, but I don't recall this guy again. I know I've never played
What
as
about you,
him.
Matt?
Yeah, I don't think so because I feel like I went with. I know I was a big Pedro guy early, and he'd always be like my ace. And there's a guy on Oakland. Oh, Tim Hudson. That was like my 1-2. So I never
Oh yeah.
had like I wouldn't have enough room for him.
Do you think there were people that were like actual players that were pissed off they didn't get a foil? Like, I want to like imagine that like this guy like saw that Radke got one. He's like, dude, what the fuck? Like,
Well,
that makes no sense. Like,
You know,
I should have gotten that.
I don't know because in 2000, I don't know how much they were connected, but I feel
Yeah.
like if this game came out right now, like Trevor Bauer would be like, "What the fuck?"
Right. It's like it's so it's almost like the whole Funko thing that like, some players have got those now.
What about what's his name? Corey Kluber getting a Indians Funko and then getting traded.
Right. Right. You're totally right.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure there were some people that might have been paying attention, but like,
Probably
I don't know.
not.
I
though.
think it was too long ago that they didn't know too much about it.
Right,
So it might
exactly.
have brought this card to get signed, which I have 0 signatured cards. I would love to get a card signed sometime.
That's what I was about to talk about. When I don't know if you saw in the Discord today, I sent a couple of mine.
Yeah, they're great. They were
And
awesome.
when I got David Segui, I remember him going. He goes, "What? I've never seen this before. What is this?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a game."
Yeah, so that makes sense. So
They've
not
never-
everyone. I don't think a lot of them know, especially not. See, I think it's different now. I think if like I'm trying to think of the people on Twitter I know a lot, like Marcus Stroman, Trevor Bauer. The guys that are on Twitter always chirping. They would know. They would know there's a card made of them.
Right,
That
that's like
game
the-
being
like-
played.
Right. It's because I feel like there was like massive saturation.
I also
of,
feel like side note. I bet I could like send Trevor Bauer a card and he would sign it because he's like super cool.
Yeah.
that's like, it's funny. I was thinking that same, like, would people do it? I'm sure like smaller players would definitely do it, which would be cool.
There's
like-
certain people like Marcus Stroman. He's like, I don't know if you guys follow him on Twitter. He's a super good follow. He's super legit, and he's always talking about stuff. Him, Clevenger, and Bauer. I always feel, and he'll reach out to them.
Yeah.
And he was trying to draft them all for the like, USA baseball team in the Olympics the other day. So I feel like Marcus Stroman's like super huge on Twitter, and I feel like that's the kind of guy like you get a signature from. Like you could get a guy, send it to him in the mail, and like be like, dude, we do this game for fun with our buddies, and like, dude, would you sign our card? Would love it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Trevor Bauer might like draw a middle finger on it. I don't know. Like he's super
be cool.
crazy.
Send
Right.
it to the Players Association. That's why they're not getting.
Yeah,
it.
Right.
he
Yeah.
might be
No,
like-
this is kind of
No,
it's
I don't
kind of
know,
risky
because he's like super like for the fans. Like he
Yeah.
just released this other thing the other day when I listened to him talking about it. Again, we're side noting here, but he was talking about MLB the app or the MLB the TV channel MLB Network. When you sign up for it, you get blackout for your own games for your
Mhm.
own network. He's like, why? He's like, literally, it should be no blackouts. Put some ads on there.
Sadly,
was-
League Pass is the same way though
Yeah,
for NBA.
But he was like, why wouldn't you do that? He's like, but MLB is hurting for
Yeah.
fans.
Well,
Like,
and he ripped
Right.
that how like they can't like teams can't even post highlights
Yeah.
until somebody else does.
what was that guy? Who was the guy that did the gifts? Oh my god, what's his name on Twitter? Always post the pitching gifts. Oh my god, he's fantastic on Twitter. He always like breaks down the rotation. He does overlays for pitchers. He started MLB Flat Ground. He's a pitching ninja. That's what he is. Pitching ninja. He has a thing with RotoWare. Great. He has a great logo. It's like a baseball with a ninja mask on. It's fantastic. He breaks down gifts. He got sued or not sued. He got in trouble with MLB. They were like, "Whoa, you're taking our like GIF images and using them. We are not okay with that." And it's like literally you're hurting your fan base by doing that.
Right.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, that's just like,
So he worked out a deal, and MLB then said, "Okay, then you're part of us." But why is this an issue?
Right.
You would think the more your business is
Exposure.
out there, the more people go to games.
Yeah.
right. It's going to be interesting moving forward, right now in midst of, COVID-19. And
Yeah.
I think that I've thought a lot about it just because my actual work involves, the MLB. And I think that there's going to be I think it's going to be tough to get people in seats whenever this clears up, if it clears up. So I feel like the MLB is going to have no choice but to really kind of, sit down and take a look at themselves in the mirror and be like, what type, what are we trying to do
I don't
here?
know, they're a bunch of stingy old white men.
Right.
And that was Bauer's point. He
Yeah.
was like, he goes, Steph Curry can hit a shot from half court. It's everywhere in 2 seconds.
Yep.
But somebody hits a home run, you can't see it for like a half hour because somebody has the rights to it first.
Yeah, I barely get my Josh Bell tweets out.
Yeah. I'm usually messaging you before that.
Yeah. I'm busy doing something in the house, and like Matt's texting me, "Where's the Josh Bell tweet?" I'm like, Jesus, I can't even tweet it out fast
and
enough.
it's just because I had the exclusive fun MLB TV thing where I could watch games that were blacked out.
All right, well, let's keep going with these Royals real quick. We got Ray Sanchez. This is where we talked about where you can make up.
Yeah, he fixes their whole infield.
Right, for 150, and he's not bad. Like his chart's nothing to write home about.
If he was A-speed, I think I would draft him.
But, for 150,
but Jeff, 1 through 4 ground ball is rough.
That's rough. And no walk. Get out of here.
Well, I'm just looking at okay, it's my chart. I'd rather strike out than hit a ground ball. Like it would kill me.
15.
I mean, their infield's a 9 now. Once you add him in,
yeah,
that's how big that +5 is.
Yeah, it's not great, but I'm not into it. I'm not hating it for 150.
No.
If he was A-speed, I would probably draft him. But that 1 through 4 ground ball plus the B-speed means that I'm hitting into a ground ball. He's out at second. Then I barely have a chance to get to first.
Right.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
Next up, Scott Service.
How is this guy 70 points?
I guess because of no double.
Yeah, they did not give out 10-point relievers for just being a 0.
Yeah, Daryl, Kyle, and Brian Bohannon for the Rockies, because there were 17 out guys were the guys, and I think they give up doubles.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about a guy that now is an 18 out and no doubles. This is what you get. But I would not spend this value.
No, not at all.
This card is undraftable.
Yeah.
Knowing the hitters in this set,
just
you can't. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
anything below a 2 is just you're just asking for problems.
Yeah. Next up, Tim Sphere. Pretty rough catcher, but huge power range.
Yeah, this is a good one for if you're having a team like the Royals. You got your +7 catcher and you got your hitting catcher.
Yeah. So you can
look at that
hit him because you got the huge home run, the 16 home run. The +3 really hurts. So this is a late inning pinch hitter. He's only catching every 3rd or 4th game for you, type of thing.
Plus that walk range is, my God, give it some right. Ooh.
The problem is there's no single range. It's literally just a walk range.
No singles. It's 5 to, for those who aren't seeing it, it's a 5 to 14 walk range, which is just incredible.
How many walks do you think he had that year?
Well, let's see here. That 60 walk guy had a bunch, or he had 60 walks, or
yeah, wasn't it 60 or 70?
So I'm gonna guess 80 walks.
It was only 22.
Oh my God.
How many?
He only had 187 plate appearances.
Well, that's pretty. That's close.
So,
he only had 32 hits.
Man, this was literally their fifth not fifth catcher, but their backup catcher.
Yeah, he was their backup.
Yeah.
They're just filling in spots because they didn't know what to do.
So next up we have Jeff Suppan.
Another good starter.
Actually, pretty solid here. Because I judge a 515 out as a 500-point guy, and this seems pretty solid.
So what I'm seeing out of this, and this is just me thinking of if I'm playing as the Royals, their lineup's okay, their rotation's pretty good, and their bullpen's going to lose them close games.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I agree with you.
That's why they're below average, probably.
Yeah.
But they're not super below, but their
just
season
enough.
total did terrible.
Right.
They did not do well in the Central. I don't know if they faced the Indians too much or whatnot, but I'm looking at this team, and I would rather play this team than the Tigers or the White Sox.
I would pick him over the Twins.
Oh, exactly. And the White Sox finished second. Well,
yeah.
Again, they had Frank Thomas and whatnot, but their team's not bad.
No, it's interesting. I know, Bob, we talked about for a while eventually doing a team draft.
Yeah, I would love to do that eventually.
Right. I feel like these guys are kind of a sleeper pick, to pick a team, Yeah, there's just a lot of guys here that can just really, really help for what you're doing. I'm with you.
Yeah. Next up, we have a solid, actually, first baseman, Mike Sweeney. I've seen him drafted a lot for a 9.
Yeah.
4 out.
Right
solid
before he
guy,
took off.
340, pretty average at best, but solid. And I guess that white circle on the logo is used.
Look on the sleeve. It looks great.
Literally right there. So I guess
That
I can't
answers the
harp on it too
question.
much. Mike Sweeney, though, very solid pick. Very, very good guy. You're not going to be mad about this having a 9. Next up, Jay Wittisick. I actually drafted this guy a lot.
No doubles.
No doubles. 15 out and 3 for 280. For 280, you're getting this guy. I and a huge ground ball range. I love this guy a lot.
And I think his 01 card is also equally as good.
Oh, really?
If I remember, because I had him on one of my teams, but I don't think it was this card because I would have remembered it. But I kind of adopted a lot of the no doubles rules that you said just because it's worked for me. And yeah, I think his 01 card is similar, but we'll find out. But yeah, I love the note. I love it.
I think the no doubles work a lot when you find the value. And I drafted this guy, and I thought he did excellent for me in the 0001 draft that I did.
Yeah, when I was talking about my 2000 leagues back in the day, like I feel like I had Hudson and Pedro. I think this guy was my 4.
Oh, really?
I feel like it was either him or that Joe Nathan on the Giants, or not Joe Nathan, whoever on the Giants that gave up a homer.
I have to double check when we get there. But yeah, this guy, for some reason, for under 300 points is extremely valuable, in my opinion. All right, we'll go to the next guy real quick while I go get a drink of water. Oh, never mind. It's Mark Quinn. So now we're in the pennant run. This guy, I don't know why. I don't know if it's his goatee or his stance, because he actually looks like he just struck out.
Yeah, he definitely struck out. No question.
When I first started playing Showdown back, 20 years ago, I used to have this guy on my team all the time, and he would always rake for me, and he was not that good. I mean, I'm looking at his cards like he's average at best, and he only plays DH.
Well, and then look at if you go 2 before the one we just went over, Mike Sweeney, like pretty similar, but Sweeney's 50 points cheaper.
Yep.
His homer range is a little less, but my God, the dude has way more.
I'm pretty sure I bought a foil pack of pennant runs, and I got him, or I got a pack of pennant runs, and I got him, and I was like, this card's awesome. And
you have to play him.
I'm a kid. I'm like 15 years. Actually, I'm like 10, 12 years old. And I'm like, oh my God, I need a foil on my team. He's a 9. He's a DH. I could barely afford a pack of cards. Like, fantastic.
Dude, yeah, no. If you're a little kid and you grab a foil, I don't care who it is, you put him in. Yeah. You have to put him in.
I'm just, now that I'm looking at it, like 30 years old, I'm like, man, he definitely fucking struck out. Like, he for sure fucking struck out.
You don't remember those. Just throw them out. They're gone.
Well, I think when I play with this guy, for some reason, he always did well. He's probably, because he goes the 9, which is pretty solid, and he probably got hits for me. And I was like, this guy's my favorite player ever. And I don't know, Matt, let me know. How did he do that year?
That's where so he only played in the majors for 4 years.
Really?
Wow.
In 1999, it was his first year. He only played in 17 games.
And they made a freaking foil of him?
And then in 2000, he had 544 plate appearances, 33 doubles, 20 homers. Like, he had a pretty good year.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
And
but
they
weren't like the stats for that weren't based on the 2000.
Maybe he had like a hot start or something, and they're like, okay, let's up him a little bit.
Right.
But then 2001, 473 plate appearances. 2002, 84. End of his career. Where'd he go?
Wow.
Must have been an injury. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably in this image. I haven't talked to Mark Quinn personally. Maybe we should reach out to him, but he looks a little pissed off.
Yeah, let's find him and say, dude, did you know that you got this foil? Like, do you know that's a big deal?
I'd be like, dude, you got a fucking awesome ass card here. Sign it for me because you did amazing when I was 12 years old.
Right. What are we talking about?
Jeff, if you want to know, just change your Twitter account to his name and see if somebody reaches out.
Yeah,
to him.
no, I have this way of just getting former baseball players' daughters to come after me on Twitter. So
there you go.
It's a skill. I threw it on my resume. It totally worked.
Next
you're setting yourself up.
Right.
Next up, Brad Rigby. Interesting.
Not many IP2 relievers.
Yeah.
No.
And
he helps their bullpen a lot. That's for sure.
And the thing that's interesting here, usually IP2 jacks their price up a lot, and it's not too
No.
expensive here. I actually feel like he's decently priced. And
He
a lot
has
of
to
the
get-
lot of the white of the eyes in this picture. He looks like he's fierce as fuck.
He's this scary dude. He's part of the Doug Brocail
The goatee team.
dude, that goatee is legit. Yeah, no, this is I'm kind of surprised I've never really ran into this card before because I feel like in our 2000 drafts, like how does this guy not get picked?
Yeah, for
Because, like,
220.
for 220, that's
What's Keith Folk? 350?
yeah, he's
Something like
350.
that, yeah.
He like maybe his 2001 card is 350 because I know that's when they jacked up all the prices.
No,
But-
it's 350, isn't it?
Because it's 2 IP, I think it is.
And he's at 18 outs. So you're talking about 3 less outs for like 130 less points for a reliever. I mean, yeah, you want Keith Folk, but if you have to, yes, this guy's probably worth like 100 points if he's.
Wow.
I just don't know. I'm just looking at him like he's actually. I don't know if it's just a bourbon again. Drinking a lot today, guys. It's
4 out through
coronavirus.
15
He's feels
is like
pretty.
a 150.
What's up?
Like a 4 out through 15 is like a 150 point reliever. So
Hmm.
I feel like that, like for 220, that's a pretty good. You're getting a good deal.
Yeah,
Right, for
I'm
one
actually
player.
agreeing with you, Matt. I
And
think
look at
this
his
guy's
ground
pretty
ball range.
decent.
And I think it's tough with Folk. Like Folk is a crazy card. Like I'm right with you. He is 350 and he's out to 18. But for 130 points cheaper, like I feel like you can use those points elsewhere. Like I feel like this is actually probably the value pick.
Yeah,
that-
and
So
if you
unless you
load
guys
it
are all
up-
drunk, the Royals again seem pretty
Yeah.
valuable.
yeah, I feel like we're learning a lot right now
Yeah.
about this team. Like
Yeah.
we're finding like the total sleepers.
Well, I'm just wondering, do they all just fall in that middle range where like you want
Right.
a great reliever, so you draft a 300-point reliever, or a 200 solid point 1 inning reliever, or you're taking a super cheap reliever for 10 points, 20 points, or whatever it is. And so
Right.
all the Royals fall in that range where like no one finds them.
Yeah. I mean, and all their starters are like 400 points apiece.
Yeah, I just
they have a
not
good
I didn't know they were
rotation.
this good. So, all right, next up,
And speaking of,
Blake.
Another.
Blake Stein. So when Jeff took over the Butch Huskies team, he actually had this guy, and he almost was like MVP Cy Young for the season.
I had so actually it's amazing. I had the 2001 version of Blake Stein.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, the better
who's
version.
significantly worse.
Oh, I thought
like,
he was better. Oh, he's a 1.
No, he's
a 1.
a control 2.
This one's
so, like,
solid.
This guy rocks. No,
Yeah.
I know Kevin who's been on this before, and my good buddy, he's in our league. Like, he took him. This guy he's great. I mean, that 16 to 19 walk
And no
range
double.
is just in no double. It's just great.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to get a 20 to move runners more than one base, maybe.
It's great.
Yeah,
it's so
because
great.
that's a huge walk range, 16 to 19. This is a fantastic card. He should be drafted a lot.
For 420, like he's so undervalued here. So
Definitely want him with like a Jay Whittisek following.
plus that goatee, man.
Yeah,
dude.
they
Boy,
just-
that-
Was your whole team goatees?
yeah, it's like honestly, I think Rosado, like there's a lot of goatees on this
Oh my god!
on this
I just
team.
like I don't know if it's the bourbon again, but like I'm picturing this T-shirt said, "When your whole team goatees." It just seems like a fantastic slogan for a shirt.
This is our 4th player in a row. Whittisek has a goatee.
Yeah.
Quinn looks like he has a
Yeah,
goatee.
No, Quinn does
like
for sure.
Suppin has a goatee. Spear has a goatee. Holy shit! This never stops. This is like this is like, oh my gosh.
Do you want to play for the Royals?
Right. Scott Service has a goatee. Like, yeah, this is like Illuminati stuff right
Yeah.
here. Like, I
I
feel
feel
like we're
like
learning something.
If anybody's listening, a good T-shirt is like what it says, chive on instead of those. It's like win your whole team, go tees. I feel it's a really good shirt.
And it needs to have that Royals badge logo.
Yeah. I feel it's fantastic. Next up, Max Suzuki. I feel like this guy's been drafted a little bit because of his low salary
Yeah.
for
value.
210. But I have not really feel like I really want this guy on my team. But
He's card number
I
69.
obviously would love Blake Stein, but for 210, half the price. I don't know, not bad.
Yeah, not for half the price. That's actually a good way
And a
of putting
big
it.
ground ball range, 6 through 10. You're talking about 5, 6. Actually, was it 6? 5 ground ball range, so that's not bad.
Yeah. Royals had a lot of ground ball pitchers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had what was their infield? 9.
9.
Yeah, you wish they were like 11. But,
Even though, because like a 9, you really, unless you're hitting all speed A's,
yeah,
they're going to get most of them out.
yeah.
Right. Suzuki and Rigby together is not a bad combo, for not about the same points as a Blake Stein, but Blake Stein's still the best. So I don't know.
All right. That is the Royals, everyone. So again, stay tuned for more. We're gonna be shifting over to other divisions next, and hopefully going to the NL. And you guys will just stay tuned to find out what happens. So please subscribe, follow us on the Twitter, follow us on the blogs. Reach out to everyone online. What any closing words, everybody?
Yeah, I'm gonna go shave my beard down to a goatee right after this.
God, I feel like we all need goatees right now.
I feel like it maybe for whenever we do our whole big showdown meetup for all of our buddies, like it's
Side
everybody's
note,
everybody's got to have a
white of the
goatee.
eyes. Look at the white of his eyes. Oh my
Right,
God.
Right. Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah, I think if I shave a goatee, my wife might kill me though. I don't know.
Yeah, same.
I mean, it is the coronavirus. I feel like I could just do it and be like,
No,
don't worry, I'll grow back.
No, it's better for masks, So
Yeah.
just say that.
Yeah, stop touching your face. All
Right.
Thank you, everybody, and stay tuned to the next time.